And welcome back to coverage here at Grand Prix Portland. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Zach Hill. And we're looking at an early, still early in the GP. This is the sixth round. Both of these players are at 5-0. Alexander Hayne, you get a look at Alex there. On the left-hand side, it looks like the cameras might be switched because that's kind of funny, Rashad. Yeah, the names are backwards. And Sam Black on the other side. So, Zach, what is Sam playing? He usually brings some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear that Sam Black is playing sack outlets. He is in fact playing Cartel Aristocrat.
He loves that card.
He is playing a Malira pod deck with a couple of innovations from Dragon's Maze. He has 3 copies of Voice of Resurgence. He has the Sin Collector, which has been doing some work, and Blasting Station.
Oh, okay.
Of all cards, and some Revel Arcs. So definitely a very Sam Blacky deck. It's a mid-range combo pod deck that has the Malira kill with Murderous Redcap and with Kitchen Finks. Although, 3 Kitchen Finks in here. And if you're not going to combo your opponent out, you just got a really effective mid-range deck. Now, we're also looking at Alexander Hayne with an extremely consistent-looking affinity deck. It's almost all 4 ofs. The only 2 ofs are 2 Master of Ethereum, 1 Dismember is the only removal spell in the entire deck, and a single Welding Jar. So basically an extremely streamlined affinity list.
Okay, Sam Black is going to take a mulligan here. It looks like Alex is kept. So how does this matchup play out?
I've always favored the pod deck against Affinity.
Just while they're taking a mulligan, just to put something up on the screen here.
So what are we looking at in our other match?
I believe we have Samuela Estratti on the right-hand side with the neon fanny pack.
Is that his defining attribute?
Yeah, and then on the other side we have, I believe it's Josh Utter-leyton.
That's exactly who it is. Okay, and we see Josh on the innovative Jund deck with white, kind of a deck that he helped design and popularize.
4 color stuff. All right, Inquisition of Kozilek, first turn for Samuela. And he takes a look, and he sees a Dark Confidant, a Lingering Souls, and a couple of lands.
Now, this is a fascinating deck from Samuela. It looks like a Grixis Kiki Jiki Splinter Twin combo deck.
Oh, interesting. I see that he's got a Watery Grave there.
Yeah,
he's also discarded, or he had a Deceiver Exarch Inquisition from him. So yeah, that's kind of interesting.
So yeah, a flurry of discard spells. Dark Confidant not able to get going from Josh. Samuela losing one of his key combo pieces.
But he's got a lot of dig in here, buddy. He's got 2 Serum Visions in hand, draw a card, scry 2. He's get to do it again if he wants.
Now, we're seeing Flame Slash actually out of Samuela's main deck, not something you see a lot of the time. Only 3 Lightning Bolts. I think he probably wants to kill Tarmogoyfs and opposing Spellskite. Spellskite, obviously a problem for a deck playing 4 Splinter.
All right, let's jump back to our main feature match. Alexander Hayne off to a quick start, as you can see. He's already got 3 creatures on the board, and 2 of them were free. No lands.
No lands.
Look at his board. He has no lands. He's played a Mox Opal. It was active thanks to itself plus the other 2 free creatures, and then he cast a
Signal Pest.
Signal Pest with that 1 mana.
That card. Now, it's very interesting. I mean, Sam, you see with the Thoughtseize now, but Hayne, even though he dumped 4 permanents on the battlefield on the first turn of the game, he's only attacking for 3 every turn.
Yep.
So, I mean, a very good start, but not that tremendous of a start.
Now, his hand was pretty sweet, though. If he drew a mana source, he could go for any 3 really awesome options here.
Right.
Arcbound Ravager, Steel Overseer, or a Cranial Plating. But he is going to have the Steel Overseer taken away from him as Sam diligently writes down the cards left in Alex's hand. Let's see if Alex can rip a land here, though.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty bold keep from Alex. I mean, you're still attacking for 3. You have some evasive damage. Wow, the second Signal Pest, probably the best top deck he can have right here. Oh, that's devastating. Sam not really playing Electrickery. Yeah. So under a lot of pressure. We see a lot of lands, just a Court of Calling for Sam. It's not going to come out fast enough to do a whole lot. Sam all of a sudden under a whole lot of pressure right now.
He's going to take 7 here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe.
Okay.
Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 7. All
7.
Right. Oh, because Ornithopter's 2. Yeah, I'm really good at counting. This is why I
hard,
do
Zach.
not play Alexander Hayne's deck. And obviously 7, very different from 6 right now, as Hayne threatening lethal on Sam's next turn.
This is pretty insane start for Alex, and I will note that he has yet to play a land.
Yeah, doesn't need
lands for the week.
Well, as Magic has been showing for a very long time, Mox is sometimes far superior to lands.
Even when they're all by themselves. In this case, Sam, hand on forehead, trying to figure out how he can get out of this mess.
I recommend deploying permanence to the table.
All right, well, he's going to start by cracking a Misty Rainforest, dropping him down to 6. Ooh, right on the top, we see a brand new card. This is a card that I'm really curious to see if it makes a splash in Modern. It's a Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah, a card very powerful against a lot of the blue decks that define the format. Really good against blue, white, red. Fairly decent against Tron. Pretty good in Jund attrition fights where you're just trying to 2-for-1 your opponent over and over again. Yeah, a really exciting card.
Yeah.
Especially exciting in a deck that features Birthing Pod, Visceraseer, Cartel Aristocrat, and Blasting Station.
Wow, yeah.
You know, you're just like, okay, I'd gladly up my guy into a Lurgoyf, or not an Lurgoyf, you know what I mean, a Counter Warlord. Yeah, exactly. And in the process, getting a ton of value out of that. So, yeah, a really exciting card, although this matchup in this game, not really what he wants to be doing. I am looking at Sam's sideboard. He does have Kataki War's Wage.
Okay, so
which,
sideboard looks...
He's going to work hard
but
to
what is he going to play
search out?
3 to keep himself alive? Kitchen Finks, one of the best cards you can do to do that, although right now it can only block Memnite, but that's a key block.
Yeah, I mean, Memnite has 3 power on the attack, so I mean, Hayne has, what, 4 points of evasive damage. Yeah. So, I mean, Sam's still not in great shape.
No, but I think he's also got a Cartel Aristocrat, which means he can get that Kitchen Finks. Ooh, okay, so Inkmoth Nexus for Alexander Hayne. He's going to play Arcbound Ravager. And so this should do it, right?
Yeah, can he just kill Sam right here?
Pretty sure he can just attack with everything, sack everything that doesn't get through.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, or no, but it's 4. So I think he's 1 point short. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Because Inkmoth Nexus is not
enough, so it's just 4. Yep. He can't activate Inkmoth Nexus because he doesn't have a spare mana. All right, so he's going to go for 4 and just say go.
Needs to have a big turn here for Sam.
This is a big one for Sam. Oop, easy. There you go. Thoughtseize, that's a blank.
Yeah, not what you want when you're at 4 life and your opponent has this many guys on the table. Is there anything... I mean, he's got a Chord of Calling.
He does have
theoretically
a Chord
for 2. I don't know if that's going to do anything.
Is there a flyer he can use to throw in front? Yeah, it's just he's in such a tight spot here.
He needs like Orzhov Pontiff or something. I guess that wouldn't even do it because they just make the guy huge with Ravager in response. Yeah, I think this is going to be the game.
He can play...
Can he combo out right here? Yeah, he has Aristocrat Finks. So he gets 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it doesn't have quite enough mana to tutor up Malira and combo out.
I see, yep.
All right, well, pretty quick game 1.
Probably a lot closer than it looked.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the pod deck. You think it's sort of like a rocky mid-range deck, but then you just forget it can instantly kill you in several different ways, or instantly gain unboundedly large amounts of life.
That's right. All right, quick look at our other match here. That these are not the players that you see.
Yeah, let's get those names taken care of.
Samuel Estratti on the right-hand side. Samuel looks like he took a quick game 1. I think Josh Mulligan to 5.
That's not what you want to do in a format this powerful. I'm mesmerized by Samuela's shirt. I'm focusing on one and only one thing.
He knows how to do it.
But Josh, let me see what he has out of the board in this matchup. He's got Ancient Grudge, which you might actually want for all of the spell skites that Samuel is throwing at you. 4 spell skites after board. So I think Ancient Grudge might actually be very effective.
And I think spell skite's really good as a sideboard card in this format.
Yeah.
I've seen it just do so many great things. Even against Scapeshift, you can help mitigate a lot of the...
Well, I mean, the thing is, like it just blanks everyone's Lightning Bolts. Lightning Bolt, one of the most defining cards of the format. But Spellskite 4 toughness turns all those Lightning Bolts into blanks. Also does a great job of blocking.
He just blocks really well.
You know, there's a lot of 3/4 Tarmogoyfs out there. Dark Confidants at 2/1, 3/2 Kitchen Finks, Spellskite blocks all of those cards,
Yeah.
and
Really good cards.
very rare that it's bad.
Yep. All right, so both players examining their 7. See if Josh wants to keep his.
This really has to be the breakout tournament for a Johnny Vengeant, I would say.
I mean, we saw a bunch of them in San Diego, too.
No, yeah?
Yeah, everybody was running them in their Jund deck. Somehow a Jund deck has Lingering Souls, a Johnny Vengeant, and Path to Exile. I think we've seen a new name.
Yeah, I think calling it Jund at this point, it's like more junk than Jund.
It's like junk with red.
It's just like Jund. I'm not going to call it that. It's something, though.
Yeah. The Channel Fireball guys had a name for it last time.
Non-blue mid-range.
There you go.
How about that?
I like it. Although I like playing blues. So.
The deck that capitalizes off Deathrite Shaman to do ridiculous things.
This is going to be a lightning bolt. I'm 99% sure of that. You don't really want to let your opponent.
Oh yeah, 99% sure. I was going to say.
Maybe he has his own.
Every 100 games. Inquisition.
Just go for it. All right. So, those are two very good.
Actually, that is a colossal Inquisition right here.
It really is. So, which one are you taking?
I think I take Dark Confidant. Yeah, you want to get rid of that.
Is his plan just ignore Deathrite Shaman for a while, or?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think you care that much about Liliana in this deck because you're just trying to assemble a 2-card combination. Okay, you don't need raw resources. Well, I'm wrong. It turns out because
we're 0 for 2. It looks like.
Yeah. So I mean that does make sense. You can take out the Liliana. You can bolt the Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
Deathrite Shaman's only going to be 2ing you every turn. I just have so much fear of that card because it does everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to turn on your Raging Ravine.
You looked at his hand. He's got Deathrite Shaman, Dark Confidant. Not in his hand, but the spells that he has so far this game are Deathrite Shaman, Dark Confidant, and Liliana of the Veil. This is a powerful format.
Very
Those
powerful
are
format.
insane cards.
And I guess if you're Samuel, you don't want to get hit by the second turn Liliana of the Veil. Yeah, I'm taking Liliana is actually probably clearly correct. I think I've been preconditioned since the early Ravnica days to not allow a Bob to live under any circumstances if you can. I'm probably overreacting to it, but. Yeah, Liliana, especially powerful in Josh's deck with 4 copies of Lingering Souls. Mm-hmm. That means you just, I'll make myself discard some cards. I'm going to get them right back in the form of 1/1 tokens.
Yep. All right, here's the Thoughtseize for Samuel Estratti. So if he's got a red source in his hand, he could go for Bolt Bob and Thoughtseize you.
Although Thoughtseizing is kind of risky right here, given that you've seen, when your Inquisitions,
he's got one unknown card.
Yeah, you might just miss, and the last thing you want to do is just deal yourself 2 damage.
Now, what does Josh actually have, though?
It looks like something. It looks like something real.
Is it Abrupt Decay? Is it a Batter Skull? What is that?
We're about to find out.
It's another
Liliana. Wow.
Oh, man. Now, does he have the red source here? Oh, blue sleeve.
Look at
this.
Oh, man,
Fanny
pack.
Boom.
Fanny pack advantage.
That is
It's actually
the
a core theory of Magic.
Wow.
European players, consistent advantage.
Wow, I feel like I'm ready for R&D now that I know this.
Wow, fanny pack advantage.
And more damage. Estratti is just taking tons of damage here.
Devastating.
All right, now here's the bolt.
Josh, LOL.
Fix it up.
Let me do this for you.
Yeah.
Is it a bolt or a flame slash?
I don't know. Let's look. Yeah, it's a bolt.
Actual lightning. Was that premium deck series Fire and Lightning?
Yep, that's exactly what that is. Look at you.
I know my
your products.
Yeah. And the Ancient Grudge, like we were talking about, 4 Samuela's spell skites.
Unfortunately,
not really doing
completely
a lot
dead
now.
Here. Yeah. Samuel looks looking in a pretty decent position here.
Though
the life totals are wrong. And
all right, so we're back.
We're going to go back to our other match. We'll keep an eye on that one for you. But this one is going to go very quickly, one way or another. It would seem.
What is it like to be Alexander Hayne and get these starts out of his affinity deck?
Right. So he's got 2 Ornithopters, an Inkmoth Nexus, a Springleaf Drum, and the Signal Pest all on turn 1.
So pesky.
Yeah. Sam Black started off with the Deathrite Shaman, which is a perfectly respectable start normally, but when you see 5 permanents on Alexander's side of that
he does
board.
look like he has a Maelstrom Pulse, though.
All right, he didn't use it, though.
Yeah. Did he just say go?
He did.
I would want to get those 2 Ornithopters out of there.
Because that makes the Signal Pest essentially a dead card currently.
Yeah, and then makes the Springleaf Drum a lot worse.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that he says go. I can't tell what's in his hand. He's probably setting up something good.
So Alex attacks with all of them. He does not activate Inkmoth Nexus and get in with that for a poison. He decides to just go for the regular damage route here. That's something that he can change gears on later in the game if he determines that the damage course isn't going to get him there.
Which is very relevantly, that can help defeat Sam's infinite life combo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a
out
good
of,
call.
the Malira Kitchen Thing sack out.
Gain all the life you want. I got another way to beat you, man.
Sorry. We're counting up Phyrexia counters.
Mm-hmm. And, Inkmoth Nexus can be very difficult to deal with for some decks. I'm sure Sam has an answer in there somewhere, but, it isn't always on hand.
Yeah, right. He's got...
It's funny because sometimes it's just dice to a bolt.
Flyers.
Like you mentioned, it's a staple of the format in a card you see all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes they just can't ever kill it.
Right. No, I mean, especially when they're trying to cast removal spells in their main phase. Now, we saw Sam search out a swamp, but not really doing a whole lot with it right now.
He's not doing much. It's a Vault Scourge for Alex. He plays a Mox Opal and follows that up with an Archbound.
Hayne is letting us know how this match is going to go.
All right, so right now Sam has Dismember in hand. And he's trying to decide what he wants to hit with it. Now, ideally, you would save Dismember for Inkmoth Nexus down the line. It's a consideration, but the pressure that Alex has been able to add to the board means that's not an option. So let's see what Sam's hitting with this.
So we're assuming Sam's responding to Arcbound Ravage.
Okay, so that there's no sack stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly. Why? Yeah, just.
So what would you hit? The Pest?
Or maybe you either hit Vault Scourge or you let Ravager resolve. You just Dismember Ravager. Which is not
and make him do
play.
something now.
Yeah.
Because remember, he's also got Maelstrom Pulse. So like if he puts all of his counters, he sacks some permanents he doesn't think he's going to need. He dumps them on an Ornithopter, and then he gets pulsed.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just pulse whatever goes on. Yeah, so maybe he's not responding to Ravager. You just...
Yeah, you're right. He's not. So he sacrificed the Springleaf Drum to it. That's 2 counters on the Ravager.
And now he's probably going to pop those on Vault Scourge. Oh, on Ornithopter, which is exactly
so this
what
is pretty
Sam
dreamy for Sam. Sam's
and
like,
wow.
Gotcha.
So did Sam just have the sick read?
Well, so here's the thing, though. Does Sam have another land? Okay, he does. Good.
Oh, right, because then he wouldn't be able to Deathrite Shaman.
You're right. There's no lands in the yard for Deathrite Shaman. He already removed that Catacomb. But he does have a land. So
very good disciplined play from Sam. Just capitalizing. I mean, you have to think. Okay, I'm going to see a Cranial Plating or an Arcbound Ravager, a Steel Overseer. Those are what I care about.
Right.
And specifically against Ravager, it's an absolutely devastating Maelstrom Pulse.
And he really had to use the Dismember on Ravager anyway, because Pulse just gets kind of a lot worse, right?
Well, yeah, exactly right. For kind of counterintuitive interaction, you sack the one that Pulse targets.
Yeah.
That means it's countered upon resolution, and it doesn't hit the things of the same name.
Yeah, so it makes it a little weaker potentially.
Now we're seeing, 2 poison counters, 2. I mean,
Alex is not out of this yet.
Bad position.
No, he's not.
Draining for 2 every turn, dealing 2 poison counters. Sam has a Deathrite Shaman, but not a lot else right now. And I think the players are trying to agree upon life total right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sam went from being under immense pressure to being under a reasonable
a normal amount of pressure.
So he's bought himself some breathing room here. What's the plan now? Like, is his deck looking just to combo off ASAP, or is he going to try to grind out? I mean, we see there's a Gavany Township, not exactly a combo piece, generally speaking. So what do you think he's going to try to do here?
Because you can use it after, it's a slow combo.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you just try to beat down right now. I mean, you don't really have anything you're excited to sack to Birthing Pod just yet. Okay. A lot of it depends on what you draw.
He drew a Blasting Station.
Blasting Station is absolutely unbelievably devastating right now. Blasting Station just kills
I like how you said it depends on what he draws, and then he just rips
Blasting. Absolutely rips the biggest savaging I've ever seen. Of course, Sam is playing Blasting Station.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone in this tournament that's not on Team Star City is playing Blasting Station. Sam certainly is. I mean, we see an Illness in the ranks from Hayne. I don't know that Illness in the ranks does anything against Sam. Yeah, I'm looking at Sam's deck. I see the only tokens I see are Voice of Resurgence tokens. So maybe he's thinking that Sam has Lingering Souls. I mean, that is a nice thing about playing a deck like this. Your opponents are not going to have any idea what on earth it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I think I would be too scared to bring that in against Sam Black because I don't know what he's doing. You know, like he's like the mad genius. Yeah, I'm not going to try to figure out what that guy's up to.
I mean, I guess like what Illness of the Ranks does is stop if you have a Kiki Jiki Deceiver Exarch combo like a lot of the other pod decks do.
Oh, because those are all
tokens. It stops that. Yeah, because Deceiver becomes an 0-3 and Pestermite dies.
Right.
So it's theoretically good against that. On the other hand, we didn't see that angle from Sam's deck. So that's a nice thing about playing pod deck. Your opponents don't know which direction you're going to take it. Sam looks like tanking on what land that he wants to get.
Yeah, he's really taking his time. He's got a couple of poison there. We have that in our little marker there.
And we are seeing maybe an Overgrown Tomb. I mean, like, Sam's not in the worst position in the world if he just keeps working his Deathrite Shaman. But he has to expect he wants to do a little bit more than that. He puts it into play untapped. I expect because he's going to play a Blasting Station and wants to get a use out of his Deathrite Shaman prior to sacrificing it.
Okay.
Also, of course, obviously, may not sacrifice it to Blasting Station, in which case he wants to make sure that he keeps his options open. And that looks like what we're going to see. Yep, and Blasting Station from Sam comes down. Again, the card can kill every single one of Hayne's creatures at the cost of Sam's Deathrite Shaman. And now we are seeing, what's that, Malira?
Yep.
All right, so we have a sort of slow version of a combo assembled. All we need is a creature with Persist.
Yep.
Or Malira might just be food.
Yeah, that could also be the case. Especially if he had like another one in hand, she's legendary. So,
but and most likely, Sam's just not going to actually sack anything. We were debating why he put the land into play untapped. Didn't see the Malira in his hand. He wanted to be able to use the mana from Deathrite Shaman to cast 2 threats.
Makes sense now that we've seen it. All right, a couple of attacks. Hayne's going to jump back up to 21. Sam's going to go down to
sure. That's nice.
8.
Wow.
Rest in peace. Okay.
And that does stop Sam's combo.
It can, yep. Although we don't even know if Sam has the combo going. And is he going to adjust? No, he's just going to...
Yeah, I mean...
Remember, he still does have that Gavany Township.
So, I mean, this is fascinating. Hayne brought in Rest in Peace and Illness in the Ranks to, like, beat both of Sam's combos. I don't know how much I like that strategy, though, because, like, the thing about the pod deck, it is a very good mid-range deck.
It plays great creatures.
Yeah. And, like, when you're playing one of these hate cards, you're essentially mulliganing.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's played these 2 enchantments, and neither of them get him any closer to killing Sam.
No, exactly. Like, all Sam's going to do is lean on his Gavany Township and just absolutely, dismantle Hayne's board and creatures.
Right.
Yeah, and that's...
Attack you for 2.
And so
now Alex has no relevant creatures on the board, and he can't activate his Inkmoth Nexus because it'll just die. If he wants to trade it for Birds of Paradise, he could, but...
Well, and in fact, Sam can block with Bird and activate Gavany Township, thus killing both of Hayne's
Yeah, he doesn't have
creatures.
enough mana, though.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
I think he just cast the Bird, right?
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. In that case, why did he not use his Deathrite Shaman? Or did he use his Deathrite Shaman? No, I don't know.
No, he didn't.
Interesting.
Maybe he's looking at it like, why didn't I use my Deathrite Shaman? Okay, draws his card for the turn. Also, interestingly, Sam does have answers to Alex's sideboard plans.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's all types of harmonic slivers or acidic slimes or whatever it is that he has.
Yeah, we see Sam. He has Kasali Pride
There you
Mage.
go,
He
Pride
has
Mage.
Maelstrom Pulse. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know from Hayne's side how valuable bringing in these hate cards really is. I think you just want to streamline your deck, produce more threats. Like, the other thing is, like, Sam has the long game advantage.
Yes.
Like, okay, so you're Rest in Peacing. His Birthing Pod is still going to do ridiculous things.
Yes.
So, I
think I agree with you. I mean, like you said, if the game goes long, Sam has the advantage, right? And
Exactly.
playing Rest in Peace and Illness in the Ranks, and here's a second Rest in Peace for Alexander Hayne, it means that the game's going to go longer. Those
Right.
impede you from making the game go short. It's interesting.
Like, all right, you know.
All right, activate
I'll
Township,
just,
and
I'll
here
just
we
trade
go.
it up for voice, you know.
Yep, and Blasting Station is sitting there, and it can kill anything basically in Alex's deck whenever it wants to. I mean, sure, there's Ornithopters or something, but those aren't doing
Is Sam
much.
just trolling with the Blasting Station? Like, there's no way to search it out. There's one copy between main deck and sideboard. Maybe
Is it just a one of? It's just a miser.
Why would it not be?
Why would it
Why would you play more than one copy of Blasting Station? Look, man, Sam is a genius. He knew he'd get paired against the affinity deck that is mono one toughness creatures and need to machine gun his opponent's board.
Obviously.
And he just has the sick read.
No blocks.
And Sam's just like, all right, we're playing Gavany Township games.
Is there a point here where if you're Alex, you activate your Inkmoth Nexus just to make him sack one of his creatures because you're getting beaten down? Oh, looks like this is the time. I heard no blocks on the mic, but it was from the other match. Oh, he's going to let him block.
So how does this work? So a 1/1 counter has to be put on Malira for it to obliterate a +1/+1 counter.
Yes,
right?
and it
and
cannot.
it can't.
So nothing happens.
So nothing happens.
It's just a pure chump block.
Fascinating.
So he's like, sure.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny how good Malira is
I know.
against the alternative plan to beating the infinite life combo, which is infect.
Hey,
They can't infect.
they're talking about right now. By the
there?
way. Yeah,
Huh.
that's a great point. Malira just stops everything.
So my ruling is that Malira has one counter on her. Okay, right back.
I can use my Y if you want.
I will go and get a head judge.
All right, so there was a ruling by the table judge,
I didn't attack with this like 5 turns.
and they're going to go get the head judge to clear it up. This doesn't sound like a big deal to me, but there was a miscommunication, I think, and the judge says, well, I've ruled this way.
Place before it swaps. Like, wasn't sure you
What was the miscommunication?
I'm
about?
listening right now, but I'm not sure.
Very interesting.
Or you guys can continue. Sorry about that. Yeah, can we get a minute?
Sam looks at his card, just like flops it
Well,
back down.
so the judge said you can continue, and Sam said, can we get a minute? He wanted an extra minute added to their time just because it took a minute.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely. All right, Thoughtcast.
Sam says, sure.
Draw all the irrelevant spells you wish, sir.
Is Sam actually at 10? Because he just cast
He
a
just
kitchen
thinks so. He
fence.
should be at 12.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, unless he played a Godless Shrine untapped or something. Which may have done, but not sure. So now he just gets to sack Sphinx to Blasting Station, deal a damage, and gain 2 life whenever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the he can do that once, right?
Well, if he kills a guy with it, he can do it again, right?
Well,
He
no,
just-
there's Rest in Peace, so
Oh.
yeah, so
okay,
Sphinx
right.
just goes away.
Got you,
Yeah.
got you. Oh, yeah.
He can
that's-
sack it still, but
Sorry, that is exactly what we were talking about.
yeah.
Rest in peace.
It's actually the
accomplishments.
second Rest in Peace. That
So in Rest in Peace finally doing work, but still like not a ton of work.
You know, I know it's a really small thing, but what do you think about playing a second Rest in Peace against a deck that you saw Maelstrom Pulse against? Like, you just hold it, right?
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, just
yeah.
hold on to it.
Right, that'd be kind of. I mean, it's embarrassing if it happened.
Yeah,
It's
I
probably
mean,
not
it
gonna
does protect
happen.
you against Pride Mage and like him trying to go off, but none of that's really relevant this game, as Gavany Township seems to be the card.
And he does have
on
more
this
Pride
board.
Mages virtually than Maelstrom Pulses. So Hayne's got to be saying, okay, well, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather play around that. On the other end, I don't know. I just like to avoid feeling bad, and I would feel bad and be embarrassed if
I
my
love it.
things got pulsed.
Brutal honesty by Zach.
Look,
Hill.
man, I'm gonna be real with y'all. So we see
All
some
right, speaking
big
of
game.
feeling bad, Alexander Hayne has got to be feeling really bad right now as he's getting Gavany Township right out of this game. Yes, that is a 3/4 Birds of Paradise, and he's going to take 7 here. That, by the way, that's not a token. That's a counter that Sam is. There's a die. There's the dice. All right.
All right, represent it one way or another.
Very confident enough in Liliana. Game 2.
Alexander Hayne draws down to 5. And
like even though you're killing Confidant, it's still.
I hear the other players talking right now, but
So
yeah.
shouldn't Blasting Station be tapped?
Well, oh, right, because it didn't actually go to the graveyard,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, if I could look up Blasting Station, then I would be able to tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh, when it enters the battlefield? I
Fascinating.
thought it was the one that did it when it left. No, I believe you. Rashad's letting us
I'm
know what
sure
it does.
Rashad knows his Blasting Station.
All right, there it is. Whenever a creature comes into play, which is entered the battlefield, you may untap it.
So you play it, you put the ability on the stack,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sack your guy, and your Blasting Station remains untapped.
That's right.
Look, man, I don't play with cards like this.
I don't. I have no shame. I've never resolved a Blasting
look,
Station in my life.
I don't like to think about the battlefield that much. Very, very challenging. I have a small brain. But yeah, I mean, a really cool match.
Yeah, that was an interesting game, and I gotta say, I've played against a deck, Melirapod style decks like Sam's. He's got some twists on it, but that kind of base strategy quite a bit. And I am always surprised at how often it comes down to what just happened there, where they just go, look, I've cast 3 value creatures in a row. And then I play Gavany Township, and I start making them huge.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, you have to deal with this.
Right.
If Sam isn't dying, like if he isn't under dire threat, then he's just like, this game can go forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, when that thing ends, he's got 5 cards in his hand because he's just like, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
from this point.
exactly. Taking a look at Sam's list, too. There are 2 cards, Marshall, that are 4-ups in his entire list that are not lands. What do you think they are?
Birthing Pod?
That's one of them.
Okay. I don't think Melira is a 4-of in the deck.
It is
Finks.
not. That is incorrect.
Okay.
It is Birds of Paradise and Birthing Pod. Now, relevantly, he has 1 Noble Hierarch and 3 Deathrite Shaman. Now, I did not ever think to see 3 Deathrite Shaman, 4 Bird of Paradise in this format. But
wow.
Maybe
and a Hierarch?
1 Hierarch, 3 Shaman,
so there's
4 Bird.
8 1-drop.
So there's 8 1-drop accelerants, but Birds gets the nod. I don't know if that's due to Gavany Township being able to pump it as a flyer. I don't know if it's like, okay, look, I have 10 sack lands, but my opponents are going to have Deathrite Shaman. It's more important to me to reliably have the mana. But
he's a straight 3-color deck otherwise, though, right?
Yeah,
it's junk colors.
It's he's junk. Yeah. No red as far as I can tell, no blue.
Okay. Because, that would push you to want the birds a little bit.
I guess theoretically. I mean, but like Deathrite Shaman can add all 5 colors to your mana too.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. But I'm sure there's a reason for it. Maybe he just wants to have a flying blocker.
If I know anything about Sam, there is a reason.
No, I mean, it can block Geist of Saint Trapped Angel tokens and Celestial Colonnade, which is quite relevant.
Yeah. That's 4 damage.
Yeah, dog. It does something. So I'm wondering if Alex cited out his illness in the ranks now that he sees a little bit more about what's going on in Sam's deck.
Yeah.
One would have to guess.
I liked what you said. I liked your plan better of just being like, look, I'm just going to try to put it to you and beat you down. And if you combo off, you combo off. But
yeah, more
I'm
power
not going
to
to
you.
make my deck slower.
Right.
At any cost here. I almost wanted board and stuff that made it faster.
And
because Sam's deck is essentially the master of the mid-range or the long game in this matchup.
Yeah, it can do both of them.
Yeah, and anything that gets me closer to the mid-range or the long game, I want out of my deck.
Now, I like Relic of Progenitus.
There you
go. He has one in the sideboard because that forwards his strategy and can cycle if something's going on.
That seems very good.
Which, so that makes sense to me. I can see maybe 1 copy of Rest in Peace because, but I don't know that I like multiple copies
drawing that
of it.
second one is just a full miserable.
And, you're not going to do it that often, but, every you draw a card every turn, right? And
now, the illness in the ranks, is that just blank against Sam because he's not doing that plan?
I think it literally does nothing unless there's something I'm failing to understand.
Okay.
I do not. I mean, it makes Voice of Resurgence tokens -1/-1
It's
small.
true, it does.
Which may be relevant, but certainly not worth the cost of the card. I think Hayne was he didn't know what kind of pod list Sam was on, and wanted to have enchantments that hedged against both kind of lists.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Sam taking a mulligan right now. I will say that I think this kind of pod deck is a deck that mulligans really well. just because, like, you have so many fundamentals, and, like, if you draw a Birthing Pod, it just doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, it's like that card is worth, like, 2.5 cards.
Right.
It's kind of insane.
Right. I really like that it's hedged. I mean, it does make the deck slower and less potent, but it gives, like, the game that we just saw there, gives it the ability to win just from having cast creatures and played some lands.
Right. Now we see 4 copies of Seal Overseer out of Hayne's deck. That's not a card you always see 4 of.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a more effective version of Sam's Gavany Townships. Get
Very
the same
potent.
effect, but don't have to tap 5 mana.
That's right.
That said, we keep seeing it get Thought Seized, so who
Yeah.
knows what it's actually going to accomplish. But you know, I have to say I really like this streamlined version of Hayne's list. You know, none of this. You know, it plays 1 removal spell. 2 Master of the Air, but just like a bunch of 4-ofs that produce like really consistent draws. I like 4 Springleaf Drum, 4 Mox Opal. The things that make your deck powerful are the degenerate starts, so why not maximize those? And that's what I think he's going for.
All right, Sam's mulligan is 6 here. Looks like he's kept.
He kept the hand, but pretty weak. It's like Court of Calling Birthing Pod lands.
Yeah.
And not anything you're going to get hugely excited about. Meanwhile, Hayne.
Yeah,
exactly
Alexander
the kind
Hayne
of
has
start
a
he
quick
wants.
start here. He's got a Blinkmoth Nexus. He's also got an Ornithopter, a Springleaf Drum, and a Signal Pest. He's going to add a Vault Scourge to the team.
Thoughts, whatever that card is.
Cast, yep.
Thought Cast.
Mm-hmm.
Grip full of cards. Still hasn't played a second land.
Yep, so this is a great start for Alexander Hayne. He's going to get in there. He's not able to put a ton of pressure quite yet, but he's mounting pressure here, and he's got a lot of cards in his hand. Let's see what Sam comes up with. Probably no turn 2 play here. Does he have anything?
It doesn't look
Nope.
like it. Yeah.
So he's just going to have to use his turn to crack that Misty Rainforest, get his mana perfect. And I see another Signal Pest in hand for Hayne. Let's see what he can come up with. This is a big turn for him. If he can, this is the turn where he commits enough stuff to the board to make big pressure on Sam Black for the rest of the game.
So looking at what he has, I mean, he has access to 2 total mana, right? We're just going to see Ravager, which can make that the Scourge potentially a pretty big problem. Now he's going to drain him for 2. I'm a little surprised. It looked like Hayne had another Signal Pest.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the second Signal Pest would have been also quite devastating here.
I thought he did too, but maybe it was something else. It's hard to see.
But, and also having Ravager on the table protects him against Maelstrom Pulse, like we talked about, protects him against removal, uses his mana efficiently.
Yep.
You know, gets the most powerful card in his deck arguably onto the battlefield. So I mean, you know, I certainly can't argue with playing Ravager there, even if he had other options.
Sure. Temple Garden for Sam Black.
Yeah, and Sam just, I mean, he could play a Birthing Pod if he wants, take himself down to 14, but really needs a lot more permanence on the battlefield right now. Just kind of, I mean, he mulliganed into a hand that was fine, but he couldn't have been excited about it even when he decided to keep. He does have a Maelstrom Pulse,
Okay.
which could theoretically be relevant. But again, you don't really want to be casting a murder, and like it in essence is murder right now. Wow!
Kataki's Warwage off the top.
Huge Kataki.
And this is going to be huge as Sam casually passes the turn back.
That is,
Wow.
he has 1 copy of that card in his deck. He could not Court of Calling it out that turn, even if he drew a creature.
Yep.
He had to rip it off the top of his deck, and absolutely devastating for Hayne right now.
Yeah, if we could get Kataki up on the card viewer.
I mean, this card now explicitly designed by R&D to hose the affinity deck.
This exact strategy.
This exact strategy. It came out something like 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But it is doing exactly what it was intended to do. That is
Yep.
for sure.
All right, so Alexander Hayne is in his untap, and all of his artifacts, he has to pay 1 to keep them, each one of them. So he's deciding right now, he's got 2 mana.
I think what you do right now is you put everything that you can onto that Vault
Ravager.
Scourge.
Oh, and the Vault Scourge? Okay, and just use your Blinkmoth to pay for it every turn and just try to kill him.
Yeah, or maybe, I mean, maybe onto Ravager. Like, you keep Ravager, Vault Scourge alive, you attack. Yeah, no, that's what you do. You put everything on Ravager. If he has a removal spell, you can put it on Vault Scourge. You use Vault Scourge to keep itself alive. You use Blinkmoth Nexus to keep Ravager alive.
Uh-huh.
Sack everything else, start battling with Ravager.
Yeah.
He's not going to block with his Kataki.
No.
So you're going to make him do something. I think Hayne still can win this.
Uh-huh. Now remember, Sam Black, Maelstrom Pulse.
Oh, right. That's why you've got to keep the
Keep
Ravager
something
alive.
else. Yep, uh-huh. Okay.
Otherwise, you just lose all those counters.
All right, so he's used the Spring-Leaf Drum and the Ornithopter to pay the 1 to keep the Ravager. He's tapped his Blink Moth, and he's going to pay to keep something else. Ooh.
That is...
Now, it's important to note here that Blink Moth Nexus is just a land. It's only an artifact when it's activated as a creature, so he doesn't have to pay to keep that one. But the artifact lands you do.
Exactly.
Most of them are banned here except for...
So we're feeding all of this to Ravager, obviously, to turn it into a more relevant
all right.
clock.
So far he's on the Zach plan here. He draws a Thoughtseize. There is another
Yep.
another
Here
Signal
we go.
Pest, but it's not going to do anything. I see he's also got a Champion, but that's not going to be able to resolve that. So
Now
5U?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do.
Hey.
I mean, you really needed to top deck a land there so you could keep both your creatures alive.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, I mean, you're drawing into your 1 Dismember. It's just not a whole lot.
Well, and it's kind of insane, too, because he needs to draw, like, a non-Darksteel Citadel land as well.
Yeah.
And, like, his Mox Opal isn't good.
No,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
This deck does not run very many lands either.
Yeah,
right?
he has 3 Glimmer Void, 1 Island, and 8 Nexuses.
All right, it
of
looks like he
varying
just
kinds.
sacked his Ravager and put all the counters on the Vault Scourge because he knows he's going to lose it anyway, right? He might as well gain the life.
I can buy that argument, I guess. I
mean,
I would keep it around, though, because, like, he has to Maelstrom Pulse at sorcery speed.
mm-hmm.
So I like having 2 threats on the table.
So you can
so that
just
he
dump all the
can't-
tokens on the other, or
right,
on the counters
right,
on the other.
you play around the Maelstrom Pulse that way.
Oh, okay. He must have
So-
thought it was like a free roll to gain the life, and it wasn't.
I mean, yeah, I mean, against every other removal spell, this play is better. But, like, Sam showed you the Maelstrom Pulse
Mm-hmm.
last game. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's still an argument. I mean, the life points definitely matter. You might just be playing around him not having a removal spell to begin with.
Why is this better against other removal spells, though? Let's say Sam's got a Dismember here. It's the same spot, right? Like, he's now going to be able to kill...
Well, against other removal spells, Sam just says go.
Uh-huh.
Then you have to lose your guy, and then Sam just kills your last guy.
Okay, so he just gets you
this
anyway.
just- yeah,
Sure.
this just gains you some more life.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, it's only marginally
Understood.
superior,
Yep.
for sure.
I like getting the details out there. All right, a couple of birthing pods in hand for Sam.
Oh,
And
yeah,
here's some Maelstrom
dog.
Pulse.
Yeah, dog.
Whoa.
Sam does not need to get himself a game loss by getting excited like that.
No.
That's one very
Although it
awkward
is
way
pretty
to throw a
exciting in
match.
the situation he's in, though.
Oh, yeah.
Alex is at 25, and it's going to take a while. The question is, does Alex just concede at some point here?
I mean, I think you've got to like.
It's game
try
3.
and-
There's no real, clock considerations for him.
Yeah, I mean, you can always draw Inkmoth Nexus and just start infecting Sam, or I guess Sam's at 10 regular life too. I mean, there are a series of plays that are good for you here. You can draw like Inkmoth Nexus, Cranial Plating,
Mm-hmm.
and like again, you're not under just a huge amount of pressure. So I mean, I don't think you can concede if you're Hayne, but I think you've got like, a pretty low % chance of winning.
Sure.
In general, I mean, one thing I found with Modern is that there are just a lot more ways to win than it's intuitive to realize. I mean, like we saw with John when he, was on 2 lands after getting Stone Rained every turn and then just comboed his opponent out no problem.
Yep.
There's a lot of there's a lot of resilience in this format. Now, that being said, Sam's certainly in the driver's seat. See, we're going to see a birthing pod, or we're going to see more threats. Yeah. It's a birthing pod, but he doesn't really want to sacrifice his Kataki.
The best creature in his deck
Yeah.
in this matchup.
Usually you use birthing pod to go get Kataki in this
Right.
matchup. But now this next turn could be totally insane for Sam if he needs to. Sam remembering to pay for his own artifact.
Oh, look at that.
Very important. And the beatdowns continue.
Yeah, Kataki gets in there again. Does Sam have a follow-up play here? Does he have 3 birthing pods now? 2 in hand, 1 on the board?
That's
yeah,
what it
he
looks
does.
like.
And another land. So this entire game, he's really only played 1 relevant spell so far. It's Kataki's War's Wage is all he has needed.
That's certainly a very relevant spell.
Yeah, the most relevant possible. It's just funny. He's got a Court of Calling and 2 birthing pods in hand plus the land. It's just one of those things where he didn't need much. Just that one card. And he's going to court a calling right now, though, for
I think I'd get a
Oh,
death
for
right
one, he's
shaman,
going to get
right?
death right. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, why did you want to get a death right there?
I mean, just because, like, you want to start dealing 4 damage a turn. Your Court of Calling's not going to do anything else. You only have 5 mana. You don't have, like, enough to use it on something huge, nor do you want to.
Uh-huh.
You need to, like, you've got Birthing Pods. You can get whatever creature you need. I like just dealing my opponent 2 damage and starting the Birthing Pod chain.
Okay.
Or just 4ing him every turn. I mean, like Deathrite Shaman is just really good. You know what I'm saying?
It is a good
But
card.
I think you probably burn him for 2 right now and sack it to get a 2-drop.
Maybe get a. You can start going up the chain with Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah, I think you absolutely get Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah. Because then the token will be a 3/3 that it leaves behind, and you can start really moving forward with finishing off this last game.
Precisely.
For those of you just tuning in, Grand Prix Portland, we're reviewing a little modern action here. Sam Black on the left versus Alexander Hayne on the right. They're tied at a game right now, but a very timely Kentucky Wars Wage by Sam Black has decimated the board of Alexander Hayne. And judging on that Blink Moth Nexus, you've probably guessed that he's playing Affinity. And, yeah.
And he is not just incredibly mana screwed.
No.
The rest of his permanents have, in fact, been placed into the graveyard
That's right.
due to the awesome power of the Saviors of Kamigawa rare Kentucky Wars Wage.
And
All
Gabney
right,
Township
beat
o'clock.
downs.
Here we go.
Beat downs. We're not even going to see, no birthing potting happening right here. No Voice of Resurgence. Does not need to take 2 damage for no reason. Sam just going to say, all right. Yeah, and
Alex
that's going to
says
be the game.
he's had enough. Not a lot of ways to get out of that situation for Alexander Hayne. There's a few edge cases where if Sam does nothing and Alex draws perfect, he can maybe start going for